Hello everyone, my name is Akshay and today I'm sharing my presentation about day 10th and 11th day topics and challenges. And on the 10th day we have topics on exception handling, that is try except, specific exceptions, and then finally clause. And the challenge is to read numbers from a file and handle errors gracefully. Okay. And on the day 11th, the topic is about working with dates and times, and we'll be looking at the topics like date time modules, formatting, and time differences. Okay, and the challenge is to calculate the days between two dates. Okay, so when we talk about exception handling, exceptions are unexpected events that disrupt normal program flow. Okay, exception handling in Python is a mechanism to manage errors that occur during the execution of a program. It prevents the program from crashing and allows it to respond to errors gracefully. So when we look at the examples, we have multiple errors in our we encounter multiple errors in our day-to-day life. Okay, so few of the examples are like zero division error. So it occurs when the denominator is equal to 0. So when we have a form like 1 by 0 or something else by 0, we can't divide a number by 0. So it's an exceptional case. So how to handle that? So that we will be looking at in the next examples. And then we have something called type error. So it's raised when an operation is performed on an object of an inappropriate type. Okay, see here you can see my result is equal to integer 5 plus string 5 plus integer 5. Okay, so I can't add a string and a number, so the result will be an error called type error. Okay, so if we go for the next example, that is value error. Okay, it occurs when a function receives an argument of the correct type but an inappropriate value. Okay, see here you can see my number is equal to int of the string abc. So can I convert a string, can I get the value of a string as an int? It's not possible mathematically, and we don't have any fundamental physical quantity which represents a string as a number or a magnitude. Okay, so that's an exception. So let's look at some examples. So here in my exceptional handling, so first we will look at zero division error. Okay, see here my input, I'm taking the input from the user. So input is enter the number 1 and y input is enter the number 2, and when I try to divide both the numbers, that is int of x divided by int of y, because whenever I take input from the user, by default the input will be a string, so I will convert it to a integer. So when I do that, so I'll type 12, I'll type 6, so my answer is 2 by default. Okay, but if I try to do 1 divided by 0, then I get 0 division by 0 error. Okay, so what am I trying to do is I want to write a program which should continue to execute without this error. Even if this error exists, it should throw an error message and it should continue with the program flow. Okay, so here I have written a program with try and except, So here I am taking the same input. I am taking try z is equal to int of x divided by int of y, and then accept exception as e, then print exception occurred, and then z equal to 0 division error. Okay, and then I am print the division is z. So here what happens is, if I don't have a 0 denominator, then the program will continue with this. But if the program has a denominator, the input value has a denominator 0, then it will type as 0 division error, and the program will continue with the further process. Okay, so let's try with this. So here I am doing 1 divided by 0. Here it will print 0 division error. Okay, but if there are any further lines of codes, then it will not stop, it will just continue and it will execute. Okay, we will look at the final challenge. At that time you will understand it. Okay, so in the same way I have written the same program. Here I have mentioned the 0 division error. Okay, 1 divided by 0. Here it will print 0 division error. And when we go for the next type of error, I am taking the input as x here and y, but here I am not converting it to int. So what's happening is, here I am dividing a string by an integer. So in that case, my 2 will be a string and my 3 will be an integer. Here it will show as type error, because here I have mentioned my accept type error as e. So this is how we write program using try and accept. Okay, and when we have specific exceptions, so here I'm writing try num equal to int. See, I can't get the int value of a string. Okay, so here you entered an invalid number. If it is a correct number, then my number will my value will execute. And when, see, this is how we use finally clause. Here I can divide 10 by 2. Here there is no division. If I use 0, I'll get can't divide by 0. This runs can't divide by 0, but this runs no matter what. That means I am using finally here. Finally means after the representation of the error, the program will continue to execute. That is when we use finally. And that here the challenge is to read number from a file and handle errors gracefully. So here I have written the program, and I have a file called mixed underscore data here. So I have written the program to read all the numbers from a file that handles error gracefully. Okay, so here you can see that my file has int value, float value, negative value, positive value, and here it has single letter H, here it has U, D. So let's see how the output looks and how my program handles the exception. Okay, here see, you can see that none of the letters are executed and all the numbers are executed in a list. So this is the usage of handling the exceptions. Okay, I'm so sorry, here there is a typo error. On day should be time and date. Okay, yeah. So the next concept is time and date. So the topics that I'm gonna discuss is about datetime module, formatting, and time differences. So the datetime module in Python is powerful library for working with dates and times. It helps you perform operations like getting the current date, time, formatting dates, calculating the time difference, and more. So here I am importing uh, date time, date, time, and time delta from datetime module. So date time, and time delta are called classes of the module datetime. Okay, if I want to check the current date, I'll use this. See, this is a current date and time. Okay, so here I'm trying to format the date as per my wish. As you can see that here it's year, and here it's month, here it's date. It is formatted in that way, and then hour, minute, and second. So I'm not here I'm not changing. Okay, I'm so sorry. Date, month, year. Okay. Here I'm changing it to date, and then month, and then year. Let's see the output. See, here you can see that it is executed as the 11th day of 6th month of 2025, and the time is not changed. Okay, so now if there is a string, uh, if the date is mentioned in a string, okay, we can convert it to the actual date by using dot strp time function to convert a string into a date time. So when I execute this, see this date and time is converted to string is converted to actual date and time. And when we go for the calculating date and time reference, here I have my two dates. Here it is 2020. Here you can see the doc string, year, month, date, and then hour, minutes, seconds, and microseconds and milliseconds. Okay, I have mentioned start date and end date as two different dates, and when I check for the time difference, here you can see it's mentioned in hours, here it is mentioned in seconds. And the challenge is to calculate the days between two dates. Okay, so here I am importing only date time, okay, from the module date time. Okay, here because I only need date time class. Okay, so my start time is this one, that is January 1st of January 2025, and the end date is today's date. Okay, and then when I do the difference and write the program to calculate the difference, here I'll get my 161 days, and it is converted to total number of seconds. So this is the end of my today's presentation, and if you have anything to share, like any kind of feedback or suggestions, so kindly share your feedbacks with me, and I'll accept that with open heart, and I'm open for collaboration as well. And thank you so much for your time, and have a good day ahead.